Coming to paperback and e-readers, from the author of the critically acclaimed book The Man Crisis comes The Woman Crisis. Learn why so many women are becoming lost in their quest to have it all in The Woman Crisis. Pre-order your copy of The Woman Crisis on Amazon.com today. Singer Lizzo decided to clap back at critics of her, like comedian Aries Spears, at the MTV Music Awards last week. Now, your Lizzo decided to clap back at these individuals like Aries Spears, who criticize her for participating in exhibitionist behavior, such as walking around in skimpy outfits that show off her obese body and posing nude whenever she can to show off her heavy body. Now, your Lizzo wants to tell the world that she is winning. However, when I take a critical examination of your Lizzo's declaration of winning, your Lizzo doesn't see how she is being set up to lose by those white supremacists in Hollywood. Now, what your Lizzo thinks that she's doing by posing nude and putting on these skimpy outfits which show off her obese body is that she's liberating and empowering herself as a heavy woman, and she's out here empowering other heavy women to go out here and love their bodies. And what your Lizzo wants to say is that anybody who criticizes her is body shaming. However, when I look at her behavior, it fits right in line with the pattern and profile for dysfunctional women that I talk about in my book, The Woman Crisis. And as I was doing my research for the book, The Woman Crisis, I learned about the whole concept of exhibitionism. Now, I wrote a whole chapter detailing the mental disorder of exhibitionism, and exhibitionism is where a woman or a man wants to go out here and show off their body in an effort to get attention from others. Now, many people don't see this as a mental disorder, but it is a mental disorder that someone has when they need to go out here and constantly put on skimpy clothes and show off their bodies, and it just shows how this person has deep insecurities about themselves, because a woman who is confident about herself, she wants to dress modestly so that you can see the content of her character, not her body, because any woman who needs to go out here and show off her body constantly, like a Lizzo, is doing so because she's overcompensating for her lack of confidence. And that's what your white supremacists are taking advantage of. As related to your Lizzo, your white supremacists basically are setting up your Lizzo to be a joke, and they're looking to use her as the punchline as related to the image of black women. Because what your white supremacists want to do is elevate the image of beauty of white women, and they want to tear down the image of black women so that the image of white women appears to be superior in comparison. Now, I was watching a video by Mad Black, and he was talking about the obese white woman that was featured in an Abercrombie and Fitch catalog, and that white female was vehemently rejected by white women. However, your Lizzo is promoted as an image of empowerment for black women. This is a passive-aggressive swipe at black women, because passively you're including a black woman and saying that this obese woman is beautiful, but aggressively you know that this isn't the standard of beauty that you elevate your white woman to, and your white woman will not accept that as her standard of beauty. But what they will do is send somebody like Lizzo out here who is just completely oblivious to the harsh criticism, and she's thinking that she's being an empowering image to black women. But what your white supremacists are doing is setting up your Lizzo to basically be the punchline to one of their cruel jokes. Because your Lizzo is sitting up here thinking that she's winning, but the whole thing is, yes, they are giving her attention passively, like they did the character of Carrie White in the movie Carrie, but aggressively they're setting her up to be the punchline of a cruel joke. And that's what your white supremacists do when they elevate black women who are obese like Lizzo. They basically set them up to be the punchline of a cruel joke. And while these black women are sitting up here thinking that they're winning because they're getting attention from whites, and they're getting spellbound because they think they're fitting into the black box that's acceptable to white people, what they don't see are those racist and white supremacists who set them up, really sitting there laughing at them in the background. As they're coming out here participating in these dysfunctional behaviors like exhibitionism, showing off their body in these skimpy clothes, and posing nude, they don't really hear the laughter of these white supremacists, and they think that they're going to get the last laugh because they've gotten some money and some attention in the mainstream. Unfortunately, they can't see how they've sacrificed their intangibles of womanhood, such as their dignity, their self-respect, and their self-worth, and how they've really sacrificed those most important things as related to their character, all for 15 minutes of fame, and how they've basically lost more important things than as related to the attention they're receiving. They have basically exchanged important things as related to their character just to get that attention from these whites, and your Lizzo thinks that this is winning. No, this isn't winning. In fact, your Lizzo is losing, and she's losing because she's too spellbound to get white attention and approval, to see that she's lost her dignity, she's lost her self-respect, and she's lost her self-worth. And what's really sad is your Lizzo is so caught up in trying to gain white acceptance and gain white favor that she can't see that people like Aries Spears actually care about her. And your Aries Spears basically is trying to tell her to cover up, because what these white racists want to do is they want to exploit her the same way they exploited Sarah Bartman, also known historically as the Hottentot Venus. Now, your Hottentot Venus, Sarah Bartman, was a slave, and they only put her, the only reason why they wanted to give her special privileges was so that they could go out here and try to figure out how she got this big butt that she had. And what they did, your Sarah Bartman, was they gave her this attention, then they put her in a cage, put her on display, and they named her the Hottentot Venus, and they just basically turned her into a sideshow. And that's basically how they're treating your Lizzo. Now, your Lizzo is thinking, oh, they see her as an entertainer, but no, they don't respect her as an entertainer on the merits of her talent. No, they see her as a sideshow that they are exploiting to see because they think she's a freak. And basically, the only reason why she's out here is to go again, be just like the Hottentot Venus on display for her big body, and basically breathing brand new life into the whole image of the Black Jezebel, while she's sitting here buying into white feminist narratives, trying to make us believe, oh, she's being so liberating and empowering, and anybody who criticizes her is fat shaming. What she's participating in is embarrassing behavior that basically is having your whites out here, having her out here so that they can go out here and get a laugh at her expense. And as they're getting a laugh at her expense, they're getting a laugh at black women by proxy, because what your white racists want to do, again, is degrade the image of the black woman. And what they do is they find dupes like your Lizzo to go out here and be the punchline of their joke, because while she's believing she's presenting an empowering image of black women, what your white racists are doing is getting a good laugh, just like they used to do during their minstrel shows. And what they say Lizzo as is one of the minstrels in their minstrel show. And what's sad is your Lizzo doesn't see how she is the punchline of the joke that these white racists are telling about black people. No, she's so caught up in being an exhibitionist and still caught up in the mental disorder of exhibitionism that she can't see that she is basically being exploited by a group of racists, and these racists are participating in the same cruel jokes that they did in the antebellum South. And your Lizzo is what they're doing is basically, instead of going out here and finding minstrels to perform in blackface, what they're doing is recruiting a black woman to go out here and participate in blackface and getting entertainment that satisfies white racists, because they want to see obese black women and they want to elevate the image of obese black women, because they don't want you to see attractive slender black women, because attractive slender black women, that upsets white women, because white women fear any sort of image that challenges them as the ideal standard of beauty. So they go out here and promote people like Lizzo and present them as their ideal so that they can keep black women from being slender and attractive and being a standard of beauty that would definitely surpass the standards of these white women. So your Lizzo, they push her out here trying to say, oh, you're winning. No, Lizzo is losing. And what's sad is she can't see that she's losing. And instead of her listening to men who care, like Aries Spears, who truly, I believe, cares about the image of black women and is trying to get your Lizzo to understand that you need to dress modestly, because what these white racists want to do is, again, make you a mockery and make you a laughingstock. This brother is trying to protect the image of black women, and sadly, instead of people going out here and supporting your Aries Spears, what they're doing is saying that he doesn't know what he's talking about, and they're going along with these racists who, again, they talk passively about empowerment, but aggressively enable dysfunctional behavior in women like Lizzo. And what they do is this because, again, they want to go out here and say bad things about black women, encourage her to participate in dysfunctional behavior, and then laugh at her behind the scenes. And as they're laughing at her, she's believing they're laughing with her just because she's so starved for attention. And because she believes she's starved for attention, she believes that any attention is good attention. And that's because there was probably no father in Lizzo's life to teach her the difference between good attention and bad attention, and anybody there to show her that love and nurturing that a father does. And this is why many black women go out here and twerk in videos and stuff, because there was no father to nurture her, and there was nobody there to teach her or show her positive ways to get attention and show her love. So she's out here participating in this exhibitionist behavior, believing it's empowering. Unfortunately, this is mental illness, because it's a mental disorder. And again, this is why I go out here and try to promote positive images of black women in my literature on the SJS Direct imprint, because I know how destructive media like that people like Lizzo promote, because this is, again, covert anti-black racism, and it's designed to mess with the black female's mind to make her believe, oh, these behaviors are liberating and empowering, but they're not liberating and empowering at all. It's just degrading and exploitive. And the whole thing is, you have a black man like Aries Spears trying to tell this woman that she's losing, but your Lizzo wants to come out and brag in a speech at the MTV Music Awards that, oh, I'm winning, but you're not winning, you're losing. And the sad part is, once you realize that the punchline of this joke, like Carrie did in the movie when she went to the prom, that's when these women shatter into a million pieces, and that's when they really start to be devastated because you've learned the truth about white supremacy. And the sad part is, Lizzo just doesn't know that she's in the middle of a setup for a joke, and that the punchline is going to be one of the cruelest ones she will ever experience in her life. Now, if you want to pick up some of my positive images of black women in my books on the SJS Direct imprint, like the ISIS series, the E-Steam series, A Recipe for Success, and the books of the Spencerella Trilogy and the Thetas, and Eternal Night, you can find all those books on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find them on Smashwords, the iBook Store, and Google Play. And if you want to learn why women like Lizzo become dysfunctional, you can pre-order my upcoming book, The Woman Crisis, on Kindle, or you can wait till November 29th when it reaches paperback. And until then, you could pick up my book, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single, to learn why dysfunctional women like Lizzo will remain single and can't seem to find a husband. And if you want to see me make more videos like this, you can donate to my Patreon, my PayPal, or my Cash App by clicking the links in the description box. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe.
Now available for the first time in paperback, Why 70% of Black Women Are Single. Learn all the reasons why so many black women can't find a husband and why 70% of black women are single. Get your copy of Why 70% of Black Women Are Single on Amazon.com today.